And it just so happens that now I have my period. I, guilty, like a child would feel, would not ask my mother for money for a pad.
Definitely a lot of these menstrual product companies should have prices that are accessible to many people because they are just as basic as using toilet paper every day.
It is ridiculous to me that I walk into Target right now and I'm gonna find nothing under $5. Nothing, there's nothing under it.
Companies ideally would make products more affordable so that people can access them easier, yes. Ideally, I think they would be free.
Our social safety nets really need to be a lot more bolstered for people who are experiencing poverty. I mean, I'm sure you know, only very recently have states started to remove the tax for menstrual products. So the tampon tax would be any tax that's added on to any menstrual product. So not just tampons, pads, tampons, reusable products. After a lot of fighting from advocates, a lot of states and regions have removed the tampon tax, but it was previously classified as a luxury good. And so that's why they were taxed. And I think we can all agree period products are not a luxury good. They're a human necessity.
So I think I would definitely get more menstruators or anyone who's passionate about advocating for menstrual health and to end period poverty by being able to educate them first. I think education is such a vital thing.
Coming from an at-risk community in Hollywood, where most of the kids are on the poverty line or below, these are not the conversations we are having.
It's really concerning the lack of education that comes with the stigma there is to menstruation and periods, especially within the educational system and also even within households and families. I know for many communities and many cultures, it's still tabooed. Before my mom or I became educated, I remember she would tell me, like, be discreet about it, don't let your brother see your pad, go take the trash outside because nobody can be seeing this inside. Growing up with that stigma that I face also really inspired me to fight back.
Talking about periods is a big thing, right? Like just talking about them with everybody, but especially people that you don't think want to talk about them. So I always say the people that are most resistant are arguably like who we should talk about them with the most.
Period has so much power in it and positive power. I think that if we just were to get rid of that stigma in our culture, it would not only would it like heal so much trauma, but it would bring us together like woman to woman.
Generational trauma has been a cycle that keeps repeating itself, where so many families continue the period stigma, the period shame onto menstruators and their families. And so I think it's a very big issue, but I think as we move forward, I definitely see a change in our generation and the younger generations. And it's really empowering to see how they want to learn, they want to break that stigma. And it's such a beautiful thing because collectively we can break this generational trauma. Bringing that into a table talk definitely changes so many things, from education to accessibility and to even recognizing the privilege you have as being someone who may be able to afford these products, or also noticing that, hey, I might be experiencing period poverty.
When you ask me about period poverty, honestly, the first thing that comes to mind, the first thought that comes to mind is I didn't even realize I had it, you know? I didn't realize that I went through that. That's crazy to me that I had a sock be the thing that held my period the first time, you know?
For people that are experiencing period poverty, there's a few really big umbrella organizations you can look up just to kind of get a sense of if there's anything in your local community. Period is a great place to start.
Our chapter network is what really fuels and ignites period as a whole. So the 350 chapters that we have across the US and then across the 25-ish countries. The three main things that they do to narrow it down are service, education, and advocacy. So providing menstrual products to people who need them, and then advocacy. So, working on policy, whether that be at a local level, state level, and national level, working with legislators to implement menstrual equity policy, and then education.
And then if you are living in a state that still has a tampon tax, there's lots of awesome advocacy groups working to end that tax. And I think that's a really great way to get involved as well.